At it again, and we have another story of a education board doing the unthinkable. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and let's dive in.
I'm Suparna Datta, and I'm from Fairfax County, Virginia. When the pandemic hit, that's when we found out things that our children were learning or not learning. A few of us parents banded together because we thought that, educational excellence and merit is all that matters, not the color of your skin. And so we formed the Coalition for TJ, and we gave each other support, and we reached out across the TJ, and we
Let me move my head out of the way. There we go.
We gave each other support, and we reached out across the aisle, local government, state government, anyone who would lend us their support. And one of them was the then candidate Glenn Youngkin, and he completely supported us, and I supported him. And I was a very vocal parent advocate. And when he asked me to be on the Board of Education, I was thrilled.
During a recent Virginia Board of Education meeting, Duda, I think that's how you pronounce it, confronted another board member over remarks made about the Constitution and socialism. You know where this is going? Confronted another member about the Constitution and socialism.
To an audience as inclusive as our Virginia is, you cannot reference the Declaration of Independence and Constitution as remarkable documents without also acknowledging that they contain fundamental flaws of enshrining slavery and limiting the protections that they provided for only to white propertied men. I can't, I'm not comfortable with that language. I'm not comfortable with the language of centralized government planning in the form of socialism or communist political systems is incompatible with democracy. I would concede on communism, but there are plenty of governments that call themselves socialist democratic governments. What is socialism compatible with democracy? That would be a great debate to have in a 12th grade government civics class.
That would be a great debate to have. Okay.
Declaration and the Constitution, I think they're remarkable documents. I do not believe the Declaration and Constitution enshrine slavery, nor did they limit protections to white propertied men. As far as the socialism or communist, I think socialism is just about as bad as communism. Socialism is like the nanny state, which predominates in so many parts of the world. It co-opts the important decisions belonging to families and individuals. I come from a country which used to be more socialistic now than it is now, but it creates dearth, dependency, and depression. Somebody had to jump in and challenge that viewpoint that, America is great, America's founding documents are great, and I do believe that socialism.
I get so tired of the America's the worst place on earth. It's terrible. The Constitution is trash, blah, blah, blah. Like, the same old song and dance, yet these people still live in America. Kind of funny how that works, huh? America is a free country. You're free to go. Oh, well, I can't just pack up and leave. Why not? Oh, and then they go into the whole explanation on why, capitalism is so horrible and blah, 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 and all this other crap. All of these excuses. I mean, it's the same song and dance every single time. Every single time. I hate America, but I can't leave America because capitalism is bad and I just can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. Well, maybe, just maybe, if you spent more time working, possibly even developing some kind of side hustle, instead of out in the streets marching every other day, you would have the money to pay for your trip outside of the country. You ain't even got to go far. You can go right up north, right up to Canada. Trudeau's waiting to lock you down. Going up there. See how lovely it is. All right? Sheesh. I don't know. I get so tired of these folks, man. So tired of these folks just disrespecting the greatest country on this planet. Just disrespecting it. While using one of the freedoms that this country has given them. How crazy is that? Anyway.
And challenge that viewpoint that
Yes,
America is great. America's founding documents are great, and I do believe that socialism is very destructive. Coming from a country which was founded as a socialist country, and it continues to be in India, I just disagree. I think that giving people their freedoms in every way makes for a better citizenry, and being allowed to decide things for ourselves rather than the government.
Yes,
America
ma'am.
won't be great if it doesn't isn't allowed to keep its independent streak and freedom of thought.
Duda was nominated by Governor Glenn Youngkin to the Virginia Board of Education and was serving in an acting capacity until a Senate vote on February 7th, 2023. So literally yesterday, as of recording of this video. I have no clue when you guys are actually going to see this video. But yeah, crazy. A grassroots group lobbied against Duda, labeling her a far-right extremist. The Senate voted against her confirmation. Far-right extremist, of course.
I'm very disappointed to not be confirmed. I thought people celebrated diversity, whether it's diversity of thought, diversity of viewpoint, or diversity of, any of the many characteristics.
It's all about diversity until it comes to ideas. Once you have a different thought, and you can see this, the proof is in the eating. As Joe would say. Look at Democrats. Look at them. For example, one example that we can all think of, right? In the vote to confirm Kevin McCarthy, right? They all agreed. And when there was a group of Republicans who said no to Kevin McCarthy, guess what they all did in lockstep? They all said, oh, well, this isn't democracy, blah, blah. They all said it. They all do that every single time there is a big topic of discussion. They all say the same thing. Nobody has any differing of opinion. Why is that? Because it's all about diversity until it comes to ideas. When you have a different opinion, then you're no longer black. Right? See? You ain't black no more if you don't vote for Joe. BS. Right? BS. I mean, goodness gracious. And unfortunately, she found out the hard way. It's all about diversity until it comes to ideas, man.
Point
That's
or
facts.
diversity of, any of the many characteristics. I am shocked. I thought such, tactics were, sort of reserved for, not for America, other countries. Only in America can a common person be heard, raise his voice and be heard and be part of the process. And I will continue to fight for education for our children.
I think one of the only ways that stuff like that is going to stop happening? Well, I should say, yeah, one of the ways, one of them is because remember, there was a group that came out and lobbied against her, right? Let me try to find that little piece of the clip. A grassroots group lobbied against due to labeling her a far-right extremist, right? Some random group came out, labeled her a far-right extremist, and swayed the Senate. It's time for the right to do the same thing. Don't be violent. Don't hurt anybody. But it's time for the right to start throwing out these labels as well. Far left extremists. If they want to play that game, we should play it too. Because as you've seen, this type of stuff, unfortunately, works. And the reason why I feel personally, why it continuously feels like a lot of these things are leaning left, because the right isn't going out and doing what the left is doing. And once again, I'm not saying that we have to be violent, which we shouldn't be. I'm not saying that we have to, tear down buildings or anything like that. We shouldn't. Should be completely non-violent. Should be peaceful. But we should be loud and proud. Just like they are. And I think a lot of this stuff would stop if that happened. Because the left comes out, they make sure their voices are heard. And a lot of the times they actually get violent with it, which, like I said, we don't have to go that far and we shouldn't go that far. But we should actually provide a counter voice out in the streets. Or just out in general. That's just my humble opinion. And that's why a lot of these things sway that direction. Because the right doesn't go out and do the same thing. But what do y'all think? How do you feel about this whole situation? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Why or why not? Peace and love. I'm out.